last tournament. It's the grand finale. And what a first day we're going to have here at the US Open. So I just wanted to jump on live and hang out with you guys for a little bit and go through. I looked at the seeding. I looked at the first round matchup and the draws. So I have some opinions on this. Wanted to see what you guys thought. And I think it's going to be a great US Open. We're going to be basically going over the men's draw today. I'll see if I can get to the women's draw either today or tomorrow. Thanks for hopping on. Let me know where you're from, who you are. It's always good to see you guys. Definitely give this a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. How's it going? Good to see you guys. And so here we go. This is what I want to go over. The seeding, first of all, very interesting. We have Nadal seeded number 1. We've got Federer seeded number 2. It's kind of cool to see these guys after all these years on top of the sport. Del Potro number 3. I didn't know he was up that high at this point. So he's fought his way all the way back. Top 3 in the world. I think that is awesome. Very proud of Del Po. It would be cool to see him go really, really deep in this tournament. I'd love to see that. Then we've got Zverev, who is number 4. I think as far as just going on the tour and getting a lot of wins, he deserves it. But at the majors this year, he really has not been a threat. He's been a disappointment. And, you know, he's just lost 2. He's been in some matches where he just like gets crushed in the last set. So little concerned about Zverev. I think 4 is a high seed for his performance in the majors. Anderson, though, 5th seed, totally deserves to be the 5th seed, maybe even deserves to be the 4th seed. A solid year. Great Wimbledon, obviously. Del Po injured. Is Del Po really injured? How hurt is Del Po? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is it the wrist again? I heard he hurt his wrist, and so it'll be interesting to see how far he can go. Zverev just got Ivan Lendl as a coach. Well, maybe that could be okay. So Diego's just let us know Zverev just got Ivan Lendl as a coach. Maybe that will do something. Maybe that will toughen him up. Adam says Del Po's wrist is hurt. So yeah, that could be a big deal. But the dude is used to winning matches with just the forehand. That's how good he is. So we'll see. Djokovic, what a comeback! All the way up to number 6 in the world. All the way up to number 6 in the world. And that's gonna really play out big time in this tournament. Cilic, number 7, maybe deserves to be seated a little higher. Been pretty consistent this year. Very disappointed at the Wimbledon result, I'm sure. So I think that's what really hurt his seeding. Dimitrov. All right, lost you guys for a second. Hopefully you're there. Don't leave. Don't. Sometimes they get kicked off my lives, but it's fun. It's worth it. It's worth coming out. So anyway, I don't know if you guys caught that. Dimitrov seeded number 8. What do you guys think about Dimitrov being seeded number 8? I'm not so sure he deserves to be seeded number 8. Del Po can't beat the top 3, says Adam West. So Dimitrov seeded number 8. I find that that's high. Thiem is seeded number 9. Now, if it was a clay court tournament, he could be a threat. He just seems to be doing nothing on hard courts. It's just turning into like almost a clay court specialist. Dimitrov could be out first round. Yes, against Wawrinka. Diego, don't spoil it. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Anyway, that's a big match, though, Diego. That's a big match. And then Goffin playing tough tennis. Seeded number 10. Now, here are some of my dark horses. Here's some of my dark horses. Isner seeded 11th. He could be making some big noise. He did great on the hard courts in Miami, won that tournament, was in like you just can't get any closer to get to the finals of Wimbledon. So look for Isner to maybe do some big things. Federer could be out in the 3rd round. I know he could. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Now, here it is. I like this. Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas is quickly becoming my favorite new guy. Tsitsipas, number 15 seed. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. He's got a first tough round. We're going to talk about it. Raonic all the way down to number 25 in the world. 25th seed, but he is starting to play a little better. So maybe he could be, you know, an upset maker at this tournament. Don't think he can win the whole thing, but he might come up with some upsets. And then Shapovalov, always dangerous, but to me a little too inconsistent and erratic. And then you got Kyrgios. number 30 seed. And Kyrgios, on any given day can beat anybody. He's just such a head case. It's hard to see him going through the whole tournament. Now, let's take a look at the first round matchups. Right away, I think it's pretty interesting that Nadal is playing Ferrer in the first round. Now, ordinarily, you'd say, well, Ferrer, he hasn't really been doing much of anything. But I find when you're a veteran and you play somebody that you are familiar with, that you can start to play kind of your vintage tennis. So, because you're kind of comfortable with their game, everything's familiar, you're used to the rhythm of the match. And so don't be surprised to see Ferrer put up a decent fight against Nadal. I don't think it'll be an upset. But one thing that Ferrer's got going for him is on the hard court is he can flatten the ball out pretty good. So he could give Nadal some trouble, but I don't think he's got enough firepower. And Nadal is playing really awesome this year. So Nadal, I see getting through that, but I'm sure he would rather play somebody. I don't think he'd want to play Ferrer in the first round. I don't think he's feeling like, oh, I'm about to get upset, but I think he'd like to play somebody he's not as familiar with like he is against Ferrer. So should be an interesting matchup. At least it's a first round that will be good for Nadal, as he'll probably be nervous, playing his buddy, his rival, his countryman. So look for Nadal to get through that, though. Don't see an upset. Now, here's a good matchup. Two maybe future stars of the game. You got Shapovalov, who's really come on the scene, and he's playing somebody who he says, yes, I'm pretty good, because everybody's like looking at Shapovalov and all his talent, saying maybe he's going to be the next Federer. But he has said, wait till you see this other guy coming up under me, which is this, and I don't even know how to say his name correctly yet. So it's Aliassime, I think. Let me know if I'm saying that correctly. Matt is like the master at pronouncing names, but Shapovalov versus Aliassime, two Canadians, two young guys, both exciting games. I think actually Aliassime, he looks a little more solid to me. He makes less unforced errors, but he's still got the big. He kind of reminds me of the Joker, the way he plays a little bit. I think he's going to be really awesome. I think he's going to be really awesome. I watched him play even in the U.S. Open qualifier. He had to qualify to get in, and the dude is awesome. So this. Don't be surprised if Shapovalov loses in the first round. I'm just saying that's an upset alert for me right there. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, Tsitsipas is playing Thomas Robredo. Now, I was just saying that Tsitsipas, I really like this guy. I think he can go far. But that first round matchup, if Robredo is healthy and feeling good, he's got the experience and the game. It should be a pretty match of two really beautiful one-handers going at it. Both very stylish games. Don't be surprised to see Robredo upset Tsitsipas. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tsitsipas win either, but that's a matchup. I'm just going over matches that interest me, and that's a match that interests me to where I could see that going either way, okay? Next, probably the biggest heavyweight match of the first round, you got Dimitrov versus Stan the Man Wawrinka, and it is a rematch of Cincinnati. They had a really good battle out there in Cincinnati. Dimitrov's had a disappointing year. He's had a disappointing year. Hasn't really done much since he won the Tour and World Championships last year. So it'd be a great way to show that he can still beat the big names. Stan the Man looked very, very healthy and confident down in Cincinnati. Federer was lucky to get out of that match, okay? So if I had to bet, even though Dimitrov is the 8th seed, if I had to pick, I would go Stan the Man. Let me know what you guys think. I'm picking Stan the Man, first round upset over Dimitrov. Dimitrov's packing his bags after day one. He's out of there, okay? He's on a plane. Okay, Tiafoe and Mannarino, mildly interesting. Not incredibly interested in it. I'd love to see some of our Americans just be a little more consistent than just showing flashes of talent every once in a while. But Tiafoe could win that match. He could. But I guess I'd pick Mannarino to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tiafoe won. Those are like my first round kind of matches that I'm interested in. Now, as far as the Fed alert and watching what Federer is going to have to go through, because, of course, everybody always loves to want to know how Fed's going to do. How do you think Fed's going to do in the tournament? He's got some tough matches. He's got some potential tough. He might have to play Kyrgios. Now, I know the Kyrgios haters are probably going, well, yeah, but the guy is a head case. He doesn't go very far. But he's only got to get to the third round to play Federer. And he gets up for the big matches. Kyrgios gets, if there's one thing Kyrgios doesn't have a problem with, it's going up against a top 10 guy. He's shown that. So, his problem is, and he even says this when he's out there playing Mr. Nobody. And he's probably looking at this going, oh man, if I can get to the third round, I can play Federer. And he likes to play those matches. He likes to play against the big guys. So that could be a tough match for Federer. Federer, every time he plays Kyrgios, it's a battle. It's very entertaining tennis, and anybody could win it. And Federer usually just does squeak out a victory against Kyrgios. So look for Federer to be tested there, and I still pick Federer to get through that match. But Federer's kind of like that superhero, or if you're watching a video game and your guy's losing power as he goes on through each level. This is going to take some energy out of the Fedmeister. Then looking towards the quarterfinals, I think that's actually, the quarterfinals. He's got the Joker. If he can get through, to me, I see his two biggest threats are Kyrgios and Joker, right? If he can get through Novak, maybe it's kind of good for you Fed heads out there that he lost. Maybe it's good that he lost to Djokovic, because it's hard to, if you're playing the contemporary, someone that is your rival, that you always want to play them again quickly. You always want your revenge. And usually if you just won the match, you're like, all right, I'm good. I'm not ready to play you yet. So, that could be good for Federer that he gets to play Djokovic here coming up. So that could be a tough match. I think whoever wins that Federer-Djokovic match is going to the finals of the U.S. Open on that side. Because then you got Zverev. I would be surprised if he goes all the way and gets the semifinals to even face Federer. You got Cilic, who could be a threat and could certainly give Federer a really good match, and took him out at the U.S. Open. So if he's playing great, and he's playing pretty solid this year, that could be another real threat. So I mean, Federer's top three threats to me are Kyrgios, Djokovic, and Cilic, if he can make it that far. But Cilic could also be out in the first or second round, knowing him too. So we'll see. Federer has not looked impressive this summer, says Andrew. Okay. So yeah, I mean, Federer's backhand isn't as awesome this year. He's a little off his game. He's still playing pretty darn good. I mean, guys, he did get to the finals of Cincinnati. He did win the Australian Open. He skipped the clay court. So and at Wimbledon, he was up 2 sets. I mean, he was up 2 sets and lost 13-11. So these people who are saying that Federer's game is down, it's slightly down. It's not like it's any need to hit the panic button at all. There's no need to hit the panic button on Federer because he's winning the Australian Open, so he has a major this year. He skipped the clay court season, and at Wimbledon, where we expect him to do big and great things, he was up 2 sets and he just couldn't hold on for the win. So he's still playing at a high level. He got to the finals and lost to a Hall of Famer in Djokovic. So he's still playing at a high level, guys. But those are my 3 to be worried about for Fed, is Kyrgios, Joker, Cilic. Let me know what you think. Who do you guys think is going to get to the finals? I think Nadal is especially when you look at Delpo being hurt, I think Nadal is looking very, very solid to get to the finals. I'm picking Nadal getting to the finals. I'd be very surprised if Nadal did not get to the finals of the U.S. Open. And I was even out there teaching a lesson, and we were talking about Nadal. I picked Nadal to win the whole thing, and somebody said, yeah, but he's, it's hard court. The dude won U.S. Open last year real easy. He won the U.S. Open easy last year. So I pick Nadal to get to the finals, and then it could be any one of Federer, Djokovic, or Cilic to get to the finals. And really, if I'm going to look at it seriously, I'm thinking it's more just Federer and Joker. Those are my two picks to get to the finals on that side. If I had to pick one, I'd pick Djokovic. So I'm looking at a Nadal Djokovic final. And again, I'm going to go with that whole thing about rematches. Nadal probably wants to play Djokovic really, really badly after coming up so short against him. Just again, another one of the best matches ever played, I thought, at Wimbledon this year with Nadal and Djokovic. And so I'm going to pick Nadal to win the U.S. Open again. I'm going to pick Nadal to win the U.S. Open again. Most of Federer's losses lately have been mental. Nadal is the favorite to win the U.S. Open. Yes, I picked Nadal to win. I think Nadal's going to beat the Joker in the finals. That's my pick. Let me know. Comment below your picks because this is about to go and live on YouTube forever. Hey, Ollie. I think Nadal is the favorite to win. If he's 100%, I agree. Yes. So like this video, pump it up with some likes, share it with your tennis buddies. When you watch this on the replay, leave your picks below. I've just made a pick. I've gone with Nadal, and I pick him to play Djokovic, and that's all I have to say about that. Everybody have a great day out there.